Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the new recently released Borderlands film that came out in movie theaters worldwide. The Borderlands film is based off the popular video game franchise Borderlands, and this movie, ever since it was announced, was actually met with skepticism at every step of the way. And leading up to the film's actual release, there was many reports that this film was struggling to sell tickets online. And then the day after, the movie debuted on Rotten Tomatoes with a 4% score from critics. It was only Grace Randolph at that current moment in time to give this film a positive rating. And I highly recommend you guys go and check out my previous Borderlands videos. That way you guys can get caught up on the entire situation regarding this movie. But I wanted to make this final kind of follow-up video for the Borderlands film because I told you guys I wanted to tally up the numbers for this movie as well as cover its week 2 performance at the worldwide box office, because this movie was a complete disaster in its first week at the worldwide box office when it debuted, and the second week and now coming up third week have been absolutely horrendous. So horrendous to the point where I actually called this in one of my Iron Man podcast episodes, Lionsgate is just going to pull the movie, potentially stop reporting the numbers on it, and potentially just throw it up on streaming services, because we've noticed this quite consistently is that when a big blockbuster tentpole movie like this one comes out and does not perform, give or take within about 3 weeks, then the studio that produced the movie, they generally just basically announce it's coming to streaming very, very soon. And this movie is going to be doing that come August 30th, 2024. This movie was an absolute failure, and I will be releasing my Borderlands movie review, but if you want to go check it out right now, it is on the Iron Man podcast. It is titled the Iron Man Podcast Borderlands Open Spoiler Discussion, and I did it with Society Reviews. So, this movie's budget was between 110 to $120 million. Currently, right now, this movie has taken in $22 million at the box office. Now, because people always ask, well, what did they spend on advertising? On advertising, they spent $30 million, okay? So that's about, what, $150 million budgeted movie, right? So if you just type in, if you just want a calculator right here, the movie's budget is about, what, $150 million, right? So you would, like, times, people always go 2 to 3. Let's go 3 highest because, you know, theaters got to get their cuts, distribution cost, and everyone got to get paid, right? That means this movie, to break even, had to pull in about $450 million. That's just to break even. That doesn't even made money. For the movie to make money, it would need an additional probably $200 million, which would put it around, you would need, $650 million to be profitable. Keep in mind, not break even. A lot of people generally think whatever's on the screen that a movie actually made is like, that means the studio made all that money back in profit, and that's just not how that works actually, right? So then we have the final nail in the coffin that I talked about, Borderlands digital release coming within weeks of its disastrous theatrical run. Yes, this movie is coming to streaming services after its abysmal failure at the box office. Borderlands film flops with 10% critic rating and dismal box office earnings, unlikely to see improvement. Digital release set for August 30th, just 3 weeks post-theatrical debut despite poor performance. Borderlands movie likely won't get sequel. I mean, I could have told you that for free. Why would a movie that flopped like this get a sequel? But hope still remains for a successful Borderlands 4 game. Yeah, so they announced a new Borderlands game after this movie flops. So, like I said in my previous videos, I'd actually hoped that this movie would basically just garner more fans for the franchise. But then I imagine the game studio went, you know what, that movie was a complete failure. Let's just do a video game that'll get more people to actually, get back into the franchise actually, or reinvigorate the spark that people had for these games. Now, keep in mind, studios have been doing this to boost their streaming service numbers actually, to the point where, movies like this, even if it had been good and had been received very well, it still was going to go to streaming services within 3 weeks, because studios just basically just want to get a bunch of the money up front at the box office and then throw it on the streaming service, hoping to get new subscribers. So you're basically in this kind of cycle of you have to perform, otherwise you're going to streaming. That's it, Studios are really, really trigger happy to pull movies out of theaters just to boost their streaming services numbers, and even that's not really bringing in profit for them actually. And keep in mind, when this movie got released, you have to deal with all these movies at the box office right now. Despicable Me 4, Deadpool and Wolverine, It Ends With Us, Trap, Blink Twice is coming out, Stream's coming out actually, Twisters, that Magic Crayon movie with Zachary Levi. We also had, what's that other movie that came out? Oh, Alien Romulus just dropped. That pulled in a huge amount of numbers at the box office. So yeah, this movie coming out right now, when it dropped, absolute failure compared to the other movies that came out. And what's really sad about this situation is that this is going to be the reality for almost the rest of the year when it comes to movies, because this is just a special case scenario right now within the year that we're in. But once all these movies leave the theaters and they actually go to streaming services or other places for you to watch, I don't really know what else is coming out in the theaters this year outside of like Sonic 3 that's really going to be pulling people in to go watch movies, right? Because I think even Blink Twice coming out this week is going to just destroy this movie at the box office. In today's film landscape, it's not uncommon for movies to swiftly transition to streaming services within a month or two of their theatrical release. However, Borderlands is setting a new speed record. Just over a week after its theatrical debut, the film is already scheduled to hit digital platforms, and its release is coming up fast. Borderlands has quickly become a critical and commercial flop, initially debuting with a dismal 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which has since risen slightly to 10%. While it's true that critical reviews don't always correlate with box office success, Borderlands grossed a mere $16.5 million globally during its opening weekend, with $8.8 million from its domestic audiences and $7.7 million internationally. Although Week 2's box office figures are not yet available, the premiere and strong performance of Disney's Alien Romulus makes it unlikely that Borderlands will see any significant improvement in its earnings amid the heightened competition. Keep in mind, Alien Romulus came out literally a week after this movie came out. This movie was actually sandwiched in between a plethora of box office behemoths, and normally within like a couple years ago, this wouldn't have mattered all that much. But when you have this much competition now, and when this movie is receiving this bad of word of mouth, people are just gonna go watch the other movies. And I'll be honest here too, you did not need to watch this in theaters. This movie is terrible, man. This movie is straight up this movie is just straight up donkey shit. It's just horrible. It's a shit movie, actually. Now, is it the worst movie of the year? Probably, give or take how many movies you've watched. If I don't really do that kind of thing anymore, I did that back in my older, bigger channel actually, but I would probably have this as top 10 worst movie of the year. It's just a shit film, honestly. The release date for Borderlands on digital platforms has been announced, and home viewers will soon be able to access the film. Hey, there could be a chance this movie performs better on streaming services than in theaters, but I want people to understand that that doesn't matter. Okay, a movie performing well on a streaming service is useless because that's not actually generating numbers at the box office where this movie was intended to go to make a profit, okay? The movie, which seemed doomed from the start, will be available for digital purchase and rentals starting August 30th, just 3 weeks after its theatrical release on August 9th. The film won't be offered on a specific streaming service for free right away. That's because Lionsgate has the Stars app, and I'm not too sure how popular that streaming service actually is. But viewers will be able to buy or rent it through platforms like Apple TV and Amazon Prime Video. Though it will eventually stream on a service, Lionsgate films often appear on various streaming platforms, so the exact service remains to be determined. It's unclear if this release strategy relates to the film's box office performance or was part of Lionsgate's original strategy. Still, this early digital release might suggest a brief theatrical run, so fans eager to see Borderlands on the big screen should plan to catch it soon. Borderlands has garnered one of the year's lowest critic scores at just 10%, placing it among the least favored video game movie adaptations of all time. Now, to be fair, I've not seen every single one of those, so that's going to be obviously subjective amongst all of you guys who watch this video, but I would imagine it's among the worst, because when Mr. Blanks, the guy that I do the League streams with and the League podcast with, he even told me that they swapped out various characters that don't even look like half these guys. I'm like, nope, that makes sense. Makes exact sense why they would do that, and makes exact sense why they failed. The lack of enthusiastic support from fans has further hindered its success, with the film grossing only $18 million globally in its first 2 weekends against a production budget exceeding $120 million plus additional marketing expenses. Currently, it's on track to incur losses of $100 million or more, casting a gloomy outlook on the prospects for a sequel. And that's the other problem with a movie like this, is that the cast of the movie is actually pretty stacked when you're looking at just the names on paper. This movie proves right here that, like, the age of the movie star is pretty much over. People just aren't gonna flock to a movie because it has a big name star, in quotations, on a movie poster, actually, you know? Because back in the day, if a certain actor was confirmed to be in a movie and you saw his name on a poster, or you saw the person's face on just any advertising material, you'd be like, damn, I want to go watch the new Brad Pitt movie or Ben Affleck movie. Not anymore now. Doesn't matter. Currently, it's on track to no, did I read that? Oh, yeah, I read that. Sorry. Holy crap. Although director Eli Roth has hinted at the possibility of a follow-up, and Krieg actor Florian Munteanu has expressed a strong desire for a prequel, that's not happening. This movie is getting no sequels, no prequels. It's over. It failed. It's done. They tried it. It's over. The likelihood of either happening seems slim. Still, there remains a chance that the film could gain traction on digital platforms, as some movies have, though this outcome seems unlikely. Since the film's release, there has been little communication from Gearbox regarding the project, but it seems clear that the film's performance has dampened hopes for a live-action franchise expansion. I'd imagine that's what they were hoping when they first announced this. Like, I told you guys that in my other Borderlands videos. While the chances of a second Borderlands movie are growing slimmer, fans of the franchise can look forward to Borderlands 4, which is officially in development. Video game. Series creator Randy Pitchford has leveraged the film's lackluster reception as a platform to hype up the upcoming game. Although Borderlands 4 is still shrouded in secrecy and remains a major project for Gearbox and 2K, the involvement of Gearbox's leadership in the project raises intriguing questions about their vision for the new game. Details about the game's progress or release date remain unclear, but after the film's letdown, fans are likely willing to wait to ensure Gearbox takes the necessary time to deliver a quality product and great experience. Yeah, one would hope that Borderlands 4 would be better than this pile of shit that they called a movie, actually. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. $22 million at the box office. What a freaking disgusting performance for this movie, actually. Alright, so let's go to Borderlands Box Office Mojo. I'm gonna go to that right now, okay? Really quick. Borderlands Box Office Current. Okay, so, yep. Okay, so since I just looked at those numbers, these are the updated numbers right here. It took in $14 million domestically, took in $9 million internationally. International audience did not give a flying fuck about this movie, and nobody domestically cared either. This movie performed even worse than the Marvels did opening weekend. The Marvels did $37 million opening weekend, which is still horrible, right? At least it did better than this, actually. Like, Lionsgate is just stringing just L's constantly. Like, what's wrong with them? They used to be a studio where, like, you know, they would kind of take chances on franchises like this that were popular, and they would kind of do something with them. But this is just not how you do it. And if you just look at, so it debuted August 9th, obviously, like I mentioned in earlier part of the video, and just look at that drop right here. So that's what, 7 days. So we just count 9 plus 7 is what, 16? Hit an 82% second weekend drop. 82%. That is terrible. That's fucking awful. Holy shit. Lionsgate out here just speed running L's. What's that meme of like, my expectations were low, but holy fuck. God damn. And then 7 more days after that. So what? 16 plus 7 is 23. And look at these numbers just dwindling. Just terrible. It's just dropping and dropping and dropping. Now, that second weekend drop up is huge, but it kind of leveraged into the 60s, which is still pretty bad. And it stayed pretty stagnant right there. And then look at the average of how much people, which is how much it was making per day. So after the first week, in the first day of its second week of performance, it made it made how much money? It made $218 out of being out of 3,125 theaters. Keep in mind, this is some of the highest amount of theater numbers you can actually get in. And it averaged in its second weekend about $218. That's fucking terrible. Yeah, good riddance, you disgusting, worthless piece of shit film. This movie's terrible. Garbage. And I'm glad this saga is over. I know people were just memeing on me about Borderlands video, so I wanted to make this last one for you guys. There's nothing else to really say about it. It's over. Yeah, movie came out with a trailer after being in development hell for so long. Skepticism, couldn't sell tickets before it released, horrible Rotten Tomatoes score, it bombed so hard in week 1. It bombed even harder in week 2. Word of mouth was so bad. And Lionsgate went, yep, streaming. Yep, that's what happens when studios put people who don't know what the hell they're doing on popular franchises like this. And this is what happens. And keep in mind, I want to make sure I emphasize this before I head out of the video. Not everything has to be a movie, or a movie in this way. This could have just been an animated movie that basically just resembled the video games. That's what I would say. Because not everything has to be some live action movie, because not everything translates to live action very well. And it didn't have to even be the cast or anything. It's just, they just had no idea what they wanted to do with this movie, and it definitely showed. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you're a returning viewer or newer viewer, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.